Hello, good morning. Welcome to Environmental Science. This is going to be a really fun and wild ride through 8 weeks of sustainability systems. And I wanted to first introduce myself. My name is Jen Cole. I'll go all the way back. I have an associate's degree in liberal arts from Simon's Rock College in the Berkshires of Massachusetts. I have a bachelor's degree in environmental science from UMass Amherst from back in the days when there were only 7 environmental science programs in the country. Then I got a master's degree in environmental science from Bard College, which is in New York, and finished up with a PhD in groundwater geochemistry from Syracuse University. So I have been studying geology and environmental issues since the 90s, well, really my whole life. So that is my education. Once I finished my PhD, I was going to go into teaching, and I saw how very little that faculty make. And so I kind of sold out and I went into consulting. I worked as a senior hydrologist at an engineering firm called Weston and Sampson Engineers in Peabody, Massachusetts. And it was not the best experience because I got into this field because I wanted to save Earth, and found that I was using my training as an engineer to kind of, hey, this isn't really a wetland, let's build a mall on it, or we can get closer to this river than the regs say. So I was unhappy with that, but I made huge amounts of money in engineering. And I went back to teaching. I was at Northeastern University in the geology program for 15 years. I was the director of the environmental studies program there, and I taught all the classes, did all the student advising, and had a sort of secret, which was that by then I was able to establish my own company, Rivers Consulting, and which was my maiden name. And so I was able to flesh out my income, shall we say, by working, but only for the good guys. I work for conservation commissions, I work for municipalities, and I work for private owners of homes and property who are doing the right thing, especially in the building field. So I work now heavily with a company called Wonder Group in Boston, which focuses on, which is where I am, which focuses on net zero, net positive, hurricane fortified, efficient energy. So that is 15 years of my life. And one day Harvard called and asked me to come and interview for a position there. And I guess when Harvard calls, you answer. So I interviewed and got that job and was in the day school, Earth and Planetary Sciences, for a couple of years. And once again, didn't like it at all. It was pretty, I will call the experience soul searing. So that was a defining moment in my life because, you know, people at this level would define their personal identity at that point by being a Harvard faculty member. And I waltzed in and I quit. I finished the term on good terms, but I quit. And I didn't have another plan. So I went from being a full-time faculty member at Harvard University to being an unemployed single mom of 2 kids overnight. And it was really fun. Then the chair at Boston College, the Department of Earth and Environmental Sciences, I'm talking too long, sorry, called me and said, hey, can you teach a class or two? And that was another 3 or 4 years of my life where I was teaching 1 or 2 classes there and was engaged in curriculum, et cetera, there. And now I am at Mass College of Art and Design as my full-time job. I have now, I'm at the rank of associate professor. I just got a promotion last year. And I also, though, teach at Boston College, and I run their sustainability program there. And I teach a course every semester at Harvard, but now in the grad school of sustainability, sorry. I still have my consulting firm, and I'm still a single mom of 2 kids. So that's where I am. And so I want you to know that I am very, very, very good at teaching environmental science. I say this not to brag because that's not my style, but so that you know you're in good hands this semester. I teach environmental science. It's what I do. And I was intrigued by the thought of teaching for a private military college. We are a military family. My now ex is a detective in the Boston Police Department. He also works special ops in the US Army. He's under First Army. I can talk all day about his career, but that doesn't matter so much for you. Just know that I'm an Army family and I'm accustomed to working with those in the military, and that I know your life and I know your schedules, and I know sometimes you have to do things that make this class have a backseat. I understand that. So what else to say? So I got put onto this Moodle site for environmental science at Norwich, and really impressed by the program. I'm really impressed by JD, and I'm impressed by the school. However, I will be honest here, there's no other way around this because this is important to me. I have found that the course material for our class in particular is, be frank, it's quite dated. And in a class such as, geology, I teach a course called wetlands, what else? An energy course. There are not a lot of changes at the introductory level. And so you could carry that stuff forward for years and not be off base. However, in a class like environmental science, it's not the fault of Norwich. The textbooks even will go out of date before they're even printed. So this is a challenge to me. And I've spoken with JD and said, do you mind if I kind of go renegade a little bit and provide the students with sort of my spin on environmental science? Don't worry, it's not going to be more work. And he said, yes, just so long as they don't have to buy anything extra, which you don't, and don't increase the workload. So that's where we are. And so what I'm going to do is, for the 8 weeks, you're welcome to stick to script. You're welcome to follow along in the 8 weeks of the Moodle course and do the labs and do the discussion boards, and that is fine. And you can, again, stick to script. However, I can't ethically follow that script because I would not be holding true to my really strong principle to teach the latest and greatest of environmental science. So what I'm going to do is send you weekly a kind of set of alternative assignments. So what I will send you is a video lecture of mine. So Harvard and BC both just record you as a matter of course when you're in the classroom. And so I'm going to send you a video lecture of mine, or I will update things and just do a video lecture here in my home studio. And so you're welcome to watch that. That is, I think, better to hear and to see PowerPoint than it is to read along in the dated stuff that's provided for this course. And then you can also pause it and advance it. And if you're like me, watch it on 2 times. I'll try to have a deep voice, so when you watch it on 2 times the speed, I won't sound like Minnie Mouse. I get it. We're all pressed for time. So I will send you that. The book is fine, so you can follow along in the book, and I will stick to the 8 weeks that have been laid out in the course, just update them. So you're welcome to read along in the book. For the lab exercises, I will provide you kind of alternative assignments, which are online lab exercises. And again, you can do either one. It is completely fine to stick to the script that is provided in Moodle, or you can look at mine. I will also send you, and I won't overwhelm you, but I'll send you a couple of video documentaries and or short clips, YouTube videos. Annie Leonard's Story of Stuff this week. I love her stuff. Don't always agree with her, but I like the way that she treats it in a lighthearted, no nonsense, sort of optimistic sense. That's in keeping with my thoughts on environmental science. You have to be an optimist, or you may as well hang it up, because it's a hard world out there in some cases. So yeah, we'll be very optimistic about these things. So you'll get a video lecture, sometimes broken into 1 or 2 or even 3 parts, which won't be necessarily longer, just broken into parts. And then you'll get a couple of documentaries that I would recommend you watch. And then you will get an exercise of something that you can do, so that you're learning in a hands-on sense. The discussion boards that are done weekly, that's where I will be looking for your evidence of learning, engagement with the material, and learning what it is you want to learn. So that's where you can kind of show that you have either stuck to the materials that have been provided, or you have gone in the direction that I'm trying to lead you a little bit. And the discussion board is where I will assess that. So there is that piece of things. And again, I'll send you that email the week before the week that we're working on things, and that will be your assessment. I am very friendly, very available. My cell phone number is 617-615-1612. You're welcome to contact me anytime at all. Don't worry about it being too early or too late, because if I am not available, I shut off my phone. I'm also teaching a summer class at Boston College that starts on Wednesday. So there will be times when I'm engaged in one or the other course. So I will shut my phone off. So don't worry, even if it's 2 in the morning, my phone will be off. I have really early morning hours. So I get up around 3:30 or 4. I go for a run for about an hour and a half because I'm a marathoner, ultra marathoner, and then I get to business. I do have 2 kids who are home, and so sometimes I have to be dealing with their studies. So yeah, note on that, in the pandemic, we are all in different parts of the world, I think, from some of your emails, and we are all sort of dealing with different things. Please know that I will be very, very, very forgiving and flexible with deadlines and that sort of thing as you go through the course. Um, that is something that is important to me, to make sure that you have the flexibility to get things done when you want them done. I may even give you the materials a week ahead of time, and I'll open the modules in Moodle so that you can work ahead if you want to. All of my courses, just from a pedagogical point of view, tend to be, you get out of it what you put into it. So for example, last semester when I was teaching a course that was, what course was that? Oh, Eating in the Environment, a course that sort of focuses on food and agriculture. I had students who were older, non-traditional students who were taking care of 2 parents, taking care of their kids. Everyone is home and they are going out of their minds and they have too much to do. And so with them, I worked with them to spend, 1 or 2 focused hours on the course. They weren't going to get an A. That's not what was going to happen, but they got enough out of the course for me to feel comfortable giving them a grade that would, pass them and to allow them to move on. There were also people who were home alone suddenly, were either let go from work because they're wait staff, or were working from home in really sort of brief hours. So they had a whole bunch of time that was extra that they really wanted to engage with the material. And I worked with them closely, and they probably spend 30 hours per week on the class, which you certainly don't have to do. But please know that I'll work with you where you are, and please connect with me early and often. I'm here for you. This and the BC class, and those kids in there, are all I'm doing this semester. And it is not the case that I'm doing this for financial gain. I am in a fortunate situation in that regard. I am doing this because I am passionate about teaching about environmental science and sustainability in a shrewd, logical, balanced manner. I'm not a, as they say, tree hugger, but I do think that we need to do things to make sure that Earth is still here in the future in a meaningful way for those who come after us. So that's sort of a little bit of my philosophy on environmental science. And the last thing I'll say from sort of a human point of view is that I am, a single mom. You know what I do for a living. I'm also an ultra marathoner these days, not so much because the time is not out there, and I don't like running with a face mask on, but I do absolutely. What else? I do yoga. I have, I do pit bull rescue. So right now I have 2 pit bulls, an old one, and we're getting a puppy on Wednesday. I'll show you her or him. I don't know what we're getting yet, but so we're getting a rescue pit bull puppy, and 4 cats, and a hedgehog, and 2 guinea pigs. So we have a lot of livestock around here. And that's it. I live in Dorchester, Massachusetts, right on Malibu Beach. So we get to go and take the pups out for a run in the morning. And that's me. Okay, so that's a little bit of the sort of introduction to the class and who I am. And I just really encourage you to reach out to me at any time at all, and let me know what your comfort level is with this material. Let me know any suggestions that you have, and I will always work with you on this course. Last thing is, these weekly meetings that I have set up are going to be your time. And I teach on campus. I teach synchronously, so everybody gets online together and has these Zoom video conferences. Who needs to be on Zoom more? Nobody these days. or I teach asynchronously. And asynchronous is what our course format is. And I understand that. And it is absolutely not mandatory for you to attend any live sessions. Some of you have already reached out and said, I work, I just can't, or I'm somewhere else, I just can't. Totally fine. I will record the sessions and I will provide them to you in by email, I'll say. The format for these things are really kind of to see what your questions and comments are for the week. If there are enough people that come on, we can do the lab together. We can work in breakout rooms and to just, really talk about these issues. So I'll have sort of flexible agendas for these video conferences, and we'll see where that goes. I'm going to, in the first one, which is today at 3 p.m., I'm going to poll you to see if it's better if we meet, early in the morning, or maybe at 6 or 7 at night, because there are some of you who work. So we will sort of figure out what is the best time for the most of you. We could also even swap around, so we're going to have 8 of these. So we could do some in the daytime, some at night. So whatever works for you. So, okay, I will let you go. And thank you for taking the class. I'm really excited to work with you. It's my first semester here at Norwich, though not at all my first semester teaching. So I promise you're in good hands. And I look forward to working with you. Bye.